Alright guys, we definitely have some interesting clips coming up in this video, so make sure you stay tuned until the end to see what all comes and checks out the maple syrup. So if you guys live anywhere near maple trees, you've probably seen buckets like these hanging off of them. These are to collect maple syrup, and that gave me an idea. What would happen if we left a pile of maple syrup soaked logs in the forest? We did just that, and we put a trail camera over it, and the following footage is what we caught. And the first visitor to the maple syrup logs is a ruffed grouse. This is a female ruffed grouse, and later in this video you'll see some females and a male together. But she's not necessarily there for the syrup. She just found a nice spot to sit on a log, and it just so happened to be right in front of our camera. This is a gray fox, and he's definitely there for the maple syrup. I'm sure he could smell it from quite a ways off. He became a regular visitor to the log pile here over the next few weeks, and you'll see quite a bit of footage of him coming and going. So the day after we placed the syrup out, we got some fresh snow, and you can kind of see here the fox is kind of digging, trying to get down into the syrup that's soaked into the log in this clip. Both of the larger logs you see in this video are both soaked in maple syrup. The one that the fox is sniffing here has syrup on it, and the big log laying flat on the ground that log is leaning on is also covered in maple syrup. Here, once again, overnight, you can tell we got another little bit of fresh snow. Not a whole lot. They definitely can smell the maple syrup down through there. And once again, this fox is trying to dig some out. So as the video progresses, if you keep an eye in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, the date and time is correct, as well as the temperature, Fahrenheit and Celsius. That is all correct. So it's interesting to see as the animals come and go, just how often they're there. In this clip, if you listen carefully, you can hear the fox pulling a piece of the wood off of the log. My guess is he's trying to do this to get to some of the syrup that is soaked down into the log. Now in these upcoming clips, we're really going to test your eyesight here. There's a grouse in this photo, and it's a little bit hard to see at first, but once you see it, it's pretty recognizable. It's on the left-hand side of your screen. You can just see his head moving back and forth a little bit there. But as time goes on, a few more grouse show up, keep him some company, and they put on quite the show for us. Now in this clip, there's actually two grouse that are in your screen, and I'll give you some time here to see if you can't spot them both. Were you able to spot the second grouse yet? Now in this clip, there's actually 3 grouse in total. You can see the male there on the left with his fan displayed. And there are 2 females sitting on the right-hand side there. The one's very hard to see. They blend in super well. This clip here was taken around 9 p.m. that same evening, and we're not entirely sure what we're looking at here. You can see a set of eyes moving back and forth, but we're not sure what the animal is. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think is causing this on the camera. Now, when we were first reviewing this footage, we thought this was just an empty clip of nothing in it. But if you look a little bit closer, right in the log where the fox has been digging, there's a little mouse there. You can see his eye shining, and I'm sure he's just down there stuffing his face full of syrup. Here he is a little bit easier to see as he's running around on the log. And just about a half hour later, Mr. Possum shows up for his turn at the syrup pile. So to my surprise, it took quite a while for the deer to find the syrup pile. You can see that first one there may have gotten a little bit spooked by the camera, but just a few seconds later here, if you watch on the left side of your screen, here comes another one. I was surprised it took the deer as long as it did to find the syrup, but once they did find it, they seemed to come back every single night. This big doe in the middle of your screen seemed to be a little bit leery at first, but after a while she seems to come around and get used to it, and she knows there's no threat, and she starts enjoying the syrup for herself. Later that evening, the gray fox is back for some more syrup, and it's hard to say if this is the same one or not, but there's a very good chance that it is. And the next night, the deer are back as well, and you can see that there's a couple more coming from the right hand side of your screen in this next clip. Now, if you were watching the date at the bottom, this is actually 2 days later, and this looks like it could be the same deer, but in the background you can see a set of eyes staring. I'm assuming it's another deer, but it's impossible to tell, but by the movement, I would say that it most likely is another deer. This just goes to show how good a deer's sense of smell is. This is on 3/4/2025, and their syrup was put out on 2/17. So this is almost 3 weeks later, and the deer are still smelling the syrup in the area. And with that, I would say the syrup pile is pretty much cleaned up. If you guys enjoyed this type of content and trail camera experiments in general, you'll have to check out our channel. We've got a ton of different options on there for you to choose from. Last but not least, guys, it is almost rattlesnake season, so if that's something that interests you, make sure you subscribe to see that content when it comes out. We're just a few months away now, and we will have a ton of rattlesnake footage for you guys this year. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.